And good morning and welcome in. It is Mornings at Meridian here on News Talk 102.1 WALT. About 9 minutes into the 7 o'clock hour as we get into the first hour of the two best hours of local live talk radio here in East Mississippi and West Alabama. Of course, lots of ways, as always, to stay connected to the show. And you could literally be on the show with us right now by calling 601-485-9191. Of course, we are online if you want to listen to the show right there on your desktop computer, on your smart device, WALTmeridian.com, even on Facebook. Yeah, if you want to like and follow us on Facebook, it's WALT Talk Radio. Also, we have our WALT YouTube page, and we are on X, formerly Twitter as well. They're on WALT's Talk Radio on X there as well. So lots of ways to stay plugged into the show here on this Tuesday morning, December the 5th. Roger will be back a little bit later on this week, but you got Rob in this morning and Charles Frazier.
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Doing well, too.
Good.
And we're about 10 minutes into the hour now, and chilly start this morning, just barely above freezing.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a surprise. I wasn't expecting that. So, but it was nice. I like the cold weather. You know,
Yeah.
you get all the holiday decorations up. You need cold weather. Doesn't need to be
Tis the
75.
season to be jolly.
Yeah.
You know, and I had just a thought. How long are we going to continue to say X, formerly known as Twitter, before we can just say X? Do you
I
think?
know.
Because it's like, you know, the artist formerly known as Prince. Of course, he had no way of describing himself except that way because it was a symbol.
He's that sign.
He's that, you know, what sign? Which sign is that? You know,
The Prince sign.
I know.
That is a good point because
X, formerly known as Twitter.
it seems like every single article I read when somebody references something, they always say X, formerly known as Twitter.
Right. So forever it'll be known that way. X, formerly known as Twitter.
Elon? Why, Elon?
Until he changes it again.
Yeah,
Y, formerly known as X, formerly known as Twitter.
exactly.
Well,
Who
anyway.
knows anymore? But you know. One of Charles Frazier's pondering thoughts this morning.
The shower thought. Well, how
Pondering
long will that
thoughts.
continue?
Very
Anyway.
busy show again this morning. Of course, like we said, we always put that number out there bravely for you folks, 601-485-9191. And we got a lot to roll over this morning. Of course, we are on the eve of they're calling it the final Republican debate. We are down to 4 candidates that have made the stage. Of course, Doug Burgum finally bowed out yesterday.
Okay.
We haven't heard from
Long
him
time
in a while.
coming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was about to say, nobody really thought he was going to last anyway.
Who was that? Doug what?
Doug Burgum.
I
Burgum!
Actually, I like him, you know, but he
Yeah,
just didn't have
absolutely.
the recognition or the kind of the resume for it, I think, at this point.
It's been a while since we've talked about the presidential cycle because the Iowa caucuses are kind of that official kickoff of the presidential
Looming.
season, and that's just around the corner. So we'll get into a little bit of the debate. Of course, the Trump factor as well. We'll talk about that. And a lot of local stories to get into this morning. Of course, let's go ahead and start out here, and kudos to law enforcement. The escaped inmate that was reported, of course, escaping, what was it, this past week here in Meridian with the Mississippi Department of Corrections has been apprehended. Meridian Police Department has said that Ryan Young, 28, was captured out in Port Arthur, Texas.
Wow.
After escaping from the custody of the Mississippi Department of Corrections after a court hearing in Meridian back on November 29th. The 5-day manhunt crossed 3 states. In an extensive manhunt with the cooperation of several agencies, including the Meridian Police Department Special Operations Unit, Young was located after fleeing from Louisiana to Texas early yesterday morning. Police say he stole a truck in Mississippi and a car in Louisiana before being Port Arthur, Texas. Yeah, he was arrested without incident. No one was injured. Before his escape, Young was serving a 40-year sentence for vehicle and residential burglaries, grand larceny, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, all committed in Claiborne County, Mississippi. So there we go. So
So he was convicted of auto burglary, and then he stole 2 more on the way.
Yep, just add to your
He's pretty
list there,
good at
buddy.
it, I guess. I mean, you know.
Well, I
not
had a
good at
40-year
escaping.
sentence, and guess what?
It's a little bit longer
Probably
now.
doubled it.
Well, you know, double or nothing. Well, you
Exactly.
got the double. Yeah.
So kudos to law enforcement agencies.
Right on,
I know
yeah.
that was a big story this past week with the escape inmate. And initially when that story came out, a lot of folks were like, well, there wasn't really a solid description of the individual other than he was wearing the corrections,
fashionable,
the fashionable
strike.
yellow jumpsuit that he was wearing.
Right.
So,
Okay.
but yeah, he has been apprehended. And of course, they'll be processing him to the right location so he can
We'll probably lock the cell this time.
face some more charges
Make
there.
sure that's locked, please. When we put it in there.
Guy's an escape genius right there. So, but yeah, Claiborne County is where all those other crimes happen, and now we can add, I guess, escaping and more,
Right.
auto
And
theft.
auto theft in Louisiana and Texas. Well, Mississippi and Louisiana, yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, lock that one up and make sure the key is not found. Right. There we go. So, but yeah, just wanted to lead off the show with that, and kudos to law enforcement agencies. I know the Meridian Police
Right on,
assisted in that as
Nabbed
well.
him.
Their special operations unit. So kudos to them and good job right there. So,
Right on.
Other stories we're going to get into this morning. The Heisman Trophy has come down to their finalists, and we'll take a look at that. Of course, there is an SEC football tie to that list of the final
Couple
four.
of them, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll get into that coming up, and also some local road and bridge updates as well.
Yes, right.
One of your favorites.
Right. Well, it's like every bridge they do is on my way here.
But
Somebody's trying to tell me something.
But before we get to our big story of the morning, we need to thank our friends, up in Neshoba County there at Philadelphia. They're at Doc's Toyota.
That's right. Not all Toyota dealerships are the same, and Doc stands out because there's no deal like a Doc's deal. You hear it here all the time, but it is true. Go check them out right up the road in Philadelphia on Highway 16 West. Of course, the best way to do it is just go online, docstoyota.com. They've got all their inventory listed, 2024 vehicles. If you're looking for a new Camry, Tacoma, 4Runner, Tundra, Corolla, Highlander, you name it, they've got them, and they've got plenty of them up there. They also have a huge selection of pre-owned inventory, and all the pre-owned inventory has been through the rigorous multi-point Toyota inspection process, so you know it's a good quality car. Check them out on Highway 16 West, Doc's Toyota, or docstoyota.com online. There is no deal like a Doc's deal.
Well, one story we've been talking a lot about here on Mornings in Meridian the past week or so has been obviously the garbage increase here in Lauderdale County. Of course, going from $100 per year to $168 per year. Of course, obviously, that's a 68% increase.
Right.
Well, yesterday
That's quick.
You're welcome. Yeah, we've done
Very impressive.
Carried I borrowed a number and carried it over. Yeah.
Need to borrow some numbers.
But yesterday, the Lauderdale County Board of Supervisors actually had their meeting in the new building yesterday.
Well,
and,
that's nice. Okay.
Very swanky looking boardroom that they're meeting at now, but. This was a special called meeting, I guess, to let the citizens kind of let their voices be heard in some aspect. But quoting an article here from Thomas Howard in the Meridian Star, doing some good reporting on the meeting yesterday. And we're going to dig through this article pretty extensively because there's a lot of different aspects to this story here. Lauderdale County supervisors made their case to taxpayers yesterday as to why the cost of residents that pay for garbage service went up. Now, this happened back on November the 6th in their meeting. So that's when they met about the garbage increase. Now, when was that election? That was on the 7th, right?
I think that sounds right. I don't know. Don't have my calendar in front of me.
Yeah, it was on the 7th.
Okay, so the day before the election, they had a meeting.
I just wanted to throw that out there for folks who are, like that. But anyway, in a November 6th meeting, supervisors proposed increasing the annual cost of garbage service for county residents from the $100 per year to $168 per year. That's a 68% increase. Supervisor Jonathan Wells said the county contracts out garbage service, and the increase is needed to cover what the county is paying for the service. The increase, which will go into effect for the 2024 calendar year, is the first increase in the garbage fee since 2009 is the first time they've done this. Just quoting him from this Meridian Star article, he says, quote, "I know of no company that exists today that was around in 2009 that still charges what they were charging in 2009. Inflation has occurred through COVID. We can make up all the excuses that we want, but the truth is prices have gone up." And I think, Charles, we can all agree on that. I mean, inflation is rampant, and it's all over the place, and prices for stuff has gone up.
Even if it wasn't running as high inflation, that is, as high as it is, there's still normal inflation, cost of living increases.
Sure.
I mean, that happens every year. So I think the big question is, that's certainly justified. We had a caller yesterday that said in Newton County it's $200 a year, something like that. So, they must have a higher quality garbage.
That's some good trash over there.
They got some good trash in Newton County. But so certainly the cost, when you look at it from 2009 to 2023, then it's certainly justified. I think the big question everybody has is, why was it not incrementally increased in the 14 years that it hadn't been? So, and that's... why would we operate as a county at a loss for that service? We've got to pay them. We put that cost onto the consumer. As far as I'm concerned, that doesn't make sense to me. I don't know if they kind of dropped the ball and it was a gradual increase, and they said, well, wait a minute, we're behind on that. We're operating at a negative. But I don't know.
Article goes on to say, while the cost residents pay has stayed the same, the cost of garbage service has steadily increased over the years, with current cost at more than double what they were in 2012. Supervisor Wayne Menil said, that was his quote here from the article, the Board of Supervisors has been using reserve garbage funds, pandemic stimulus money, and general fund dollars to keep costs for residents low. But it now faces a lack of alternatives to raising the cost for residents.
Okay.
Is another part of this right here. So it sounds like what they've been doing for several years now, they use obviously the stimulus money, the pandemic stuff that a lot of government agencies and local business owners has got, we all know that process, but anyway, it sounds like they went.
But yeah, they've raised millage rates, haven't they?
That too. County Administrator Chris Lafferty said it is standard for multi-year contracts like the garbage contract to have small annual increases built in based on the Consumer Price Index. Those bumps, he said, mean the cost the county pays for the service also increases every year. Okay. He said that CPI is always going to outpace the original price, Lafferty said. CPIs never go down. Okay. Supervisor Josh Todd quoted in this article as well. He said residents should also know the garbage fee covers more than just blue trash containers. The county also has roll-off dumpsters at its satellite offices in each district, which are used for white goods such as refrigerators, water heaters, and other large appliances. Makes sense, okay. Although the roll-offs have proven to help reduce illegal dumping, Todd said, some residents do not follow the rules and throw household trash in the white goods containers. When that happens, he said the dumpster has to be taken to a different landfill that accepts household garbage, which charges more. I could see that happening, obviously.
But how often does that happen, and why would it? I mean, that's probably minor in the big scope of things.
Lauderdale County also hosts a kind of a hazardous waste day. I know the city does that as well twice a year, where residents can dispose of tires, paints, motor oil, and other hazardous materials that cannot be placed in regular trash. And I think obviously the city does that a couple of times a year, so the county does that as well. That's no-brainer. Board Attorney Lee Thagard said the public should understand the increase is for those living outside of Meridian and Marion limits. Both the city of Meridian and the town of Marion have a separate garbage service and have their garbage fees included on their water bills.
Okay.
So that's
and what annually, do we know? Item in the water bill.
Meridian Marion vote, call us 601-45.
I'd love to hear what that is too.
Says counties do not provide water service, obviously, so the state legislature tied county garbage service to residents' annual car tags instead. Of course, we've talked about that extensively on the show. Can't get your car tag without paying your garbage fees. So, tax collector Doris Speidel said her office can work with residents to take partial payments on the garbage fee if the $168 is too much to pay at one time. So that's good news for some folks that are on a very fixed income. State law gives residents until May the 1st to pay the full amount, she said, after which a car tag cannot be renewed until the debt is paid. So basically, you have until May 1st of next year. That's when things kind of kick in, unless you want to pay it early. You can always go through that process. Now, 2 new supervisors are set to join the board, JJ, in January and lend their input as the county looks to renew its garbage contract again in the new board term. Now, Supervisor Kyle Rutledge, who currently serves on the Garbage Committee, that's a trashy committee.
Chairman of the Garbage Committee.
Said that he would like to see an updated audit of the county's garbage service to help guide discussions during the bidding process. And to be honest with you, it's not a bad idea to audit that and see where we're at right now. Road manager Rush Mayad, also quoted in the article, said the county also has some other projects in motion that have potential to also impact garbage service and costs. The Board of Supervisors in March approved a new solid waste plan for the county, and several of the items in that plan, including a proposed solid waste transfer station, could help keep garbage costs low for county residents for years to come. Well, it's not going to keep them low right now.
Well, I mean, let's be honest though; they're not that high.
That's true.
I mean,
yeah.
they really aren't. As I said, I'd like to see what the city and Meridian pays, and maybe somebody can enlighten us on that. But also, as the caller said yesterday, in Newton County, they're paying $200 a year. Or thereabouts. I don't know what the exact number was, but I think 200 was mentioned. So, it's not an outrageous fee. I think the garbage service is good. I mean, I've never had an issue with it. They're not throwing cans around or anything like that, So, I mean, I have no complaint. I think the only concern that I have is why this big increase? Why not incrementally? But why would we be paying other funds to supplement this?
Sure.
I mean, all those costs should be, kind of.
Yeah, because the way it was
the consumer.
The way it was laid out here says the Board of Supervisors has been using reserve garbage funds, which whatever that means, pandemic stimulus money, and general fund dollars to keep the cost for residents low.
But we've also had millage increases.
That too.
So
So
why are we using general funds to supplement that when we're also taxing more on property value? So I don't.
And then on top of that, just think if that school bond issue would have passed as well. That'd have been
sneaky one.
That'd have been another tax increase. So taxes, and taxes.
Death and taxes. You can count on them.
Let's go to the phone line this morning. I had a feeling we are going to have folks chime in on this one. 485-9191. Hey, caller, good morning.
Good morning. How y'all today?
Hey,
morning.
What's up?
I just wanted to see if anybody remembers the good old days where your property taxes paid your garbage pickup. They had the green boxes. You just dumped your garbage, and they picked it up. And I'm not saying I don't like the home delivery. At first, I was kind of apprehensive about the reliability, but they proved that they'll be there on time. Even mine ran on Thanksgiving Day, so I can't complain with the service you've got.
Yeah, the company is fantastic.
$168 out of everybody's property tax to pay this, and I call that the good old day. But the real reason for my call, guys, you mentioned about you can't get your car tag till you've paid your garbage fee.
Right.
There's another law out there, guys, that you've got to have liability insurance in Mississippi to operate a motor vehicle.
Bingo.
How many people do you know or have had personal experience that's had an accident with somebody that doesn't have liability insurance?
I'm one.
So why can't you make that a rule or a law that you can't get a car tag to show proof of insurance for a year? Why is that? Why can't anybody tell me why they won't do that?
That's a heck of a, and as you were saying that, I was raising my hand because I was involved. It's been years ago, but been down that road, got a T-shirt to prove it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I hear it all the time about people, a guy ran into the back of me, and he didn't have a driver's license, insurance, wasn't even his car, And so, I mean, it's just a mess. And I just can't understand why, if it's so easy to make the supervisors make a law that you've got to have your garbage fee paid before you can get a car tag, why can't they do the same for liability insurance? It's just mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
Well, that would be common sense.
I think that's lack of leadership, personally. But, I don't know why. I never heard a reason why they won't do it.
Right.
I'd love to hear from the supervisor why they don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah, it sure is. I totally agree.
Well, thank you, guys. I enjoyed the conversation today.
I
appreciate that. Yeah.
And,
all right, bye-bye.
And that's a great point because, you get into an accident, your first thought is, man, I hope they have insurance.
I know. I know, right?
I hope they do. Why are we even hoping that? It's a law. You're required to. If you're on the road, you got to have insurance. Yet here we are.
Please.
Oh, man, I hope they have insurance. Yeah.
Let's go back to the phone line, 485-9191. Hey, caller, good morning.
Good morning. How are you gentlemen today?
We're doing great.
Gentlemen, wow.
Gentlemen, wow.
We like you already.
Who the heck are you talking about?
Yeah, so I was listening to you read the article in the Meridian Star, and, I heard that one of the ladies commented and asked because Kyle Rutledge mentioned something about there was a surplus in the sanitation fund, and they purchased a fire truck with the surplus.
Okay.
So
interesting.
Nothing in that article indicates that, could could we have possibly been paying over the amount all those years, and that's what built the surplus up? I don't know, but that was a very important point that I think needs to be understood a little bit further. How do we know that there's not a surplus in this new rate?
Absolutely.
So I think those are all important points. If anybody knows, like, maybe more details about what all funds, can be dispersed in that account for sanitation, if somebody can call in and explain that, I feel like that'd be helpful.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
And there was mention of a reserve fund, wasn't there? A reserve garbage fund?
Yeah, the way they had, I think it was Mr. Newell who said that, they were using reserve garbage funds, and of course they mentioned the stimulus money from the pandemic, and then they said general fund dollars.
But the reserve garbage fund would indicate that there is a surplus.
There is a surplus somewhere, yeah.
Right, and the way it's presented, to me, it sounds like, as the taxpayers, we weren't paying our fair share for services.
Right.
But then after listening to the comments that were made at the meeting, I thought maybe we were actually paying our fair share, and that the funds, if they were used to purchase a fire truck, that, could that have gone into maybe offsetting this, pretty, 68% increase?
68%, right.
Right.
Yeah.
Could it have been maybe a little cheaper if that surplus was used to, to offset the costs that we are currently, having to pay? So I don't know. All those are just questions I feel like the board needs to clarify.
Sure.
So there's no confusion.
Yeah. Well, we got to run. We got Fox News next. We appreciate you.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. options available. So you get those low monthly payments for that brand new roof. Give them a call today, 601-573-1150 for your free estimate. That's a ready-to-roof.
All right, before we get back to the phone lines, I know everybody wants to talk about trash this morning, but what a great segue.
Yeah.
She's like, what?
Wow, great. Here we go again.
Oh, we will get back to the phone lines, but she is back, and it's amazing when she walks in a room, we're like, oh, it must be that time of year. It's Teresa Westbrook. Good morning.
Good morning.
And we know what time of year it is. It's Christmas time. And
it's Belle's Best Cookbook
It's
time.
Belle's Best Cookbook time. Yahoo. All right. Well, tell us all about it, the sale, when we're going to have it, and what we're going to do.
It starts tomorrow. We're doing it Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from 8:30 to 5 p.m. down at the AT&T building, which is something like 2310 7th Street. I always booger up the address, but hey, it's on 7th Street. It's across from City Hall. It's across from the Christmas tree, unless they move the tree.
Nope.
You're going to find it one way or another.
You can't miss it. Big banner over the door that says Belle's Best Cookbook.
Look for the banner. There you go.
That's all you need.
Big
Look for the
blue
tree,
letters.
then the banner.
Yep. But we do sell more than just the Mississippi cookbook. Belle's Best is the Mississippi Telephone Pioneers Cookbook.
Mm-hmm.
They started compiling it in the late 70s, and a lot of the other states were doing the same thing for fundraisers in the late 70s. So we have North Carolina, we have North and South Texas, we have Georgia, we have Alabama.
Wow.
We have all the Louisiana, so if you want to learn how to cook Cajun, not that you can learn how to make a roux from a cookbook, but you get the general idea. I made my first roux the other day. I was so proud of myself. It was beautiful.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did. What was I making? My mother-in-law's recipe for shrimp Creole. And I wouldn't have thought that had a roux, but it started with a roux.
Huh? How about that?
It was so pretty and brown.
Ah.
Yay.
Put it on the
This
menu.
ain't hard.
Put it on the menu at Wideman's.
There you go. Shrimp Grill, we do it once in a while.
Yeah,
We do it over, fish, things like that.
Yeah, very
But
good.
anyway, yeah.
Yep. Well, I typically don't like the tomato base. I want like gumbo or something
Sure.
like that.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
But it was good. Just because I made it. I
Right.
guess.
You felt so accomplished.
Yes, I did.
Making a
I was a
roux.
big girl.
I love it.
Everybody knows I hate to cook because I don't like to be in the kitchen.
Well, everybody's going to be in the kitchen this time of year with Christmas and
yeah.
everything, getting ready for parties and, of course, baking and everything like that. But, hey, this is a great spot to get that cookbook if you've ever wanted one. So.
Definitely. I mean, every time I'm looking for a recipe, I'm going to go pick up that yellow Belle's Best first. If I can't find it in there, which is rare, I'll go in my other cookbooks, which I do have quite a few. But that is everybody's absolute favorite. And they're not real complicated. They don't have tons of ingredients. They're older recipes before people started taking shortcuts. And, well, I mean, everybody knows we take shortcuts now, If you can't figure out how to buy it in a package and then embellish it or something,
Yeah.
Because some of those recipes, sometimes I know a lot of recipes in our family, it never has exact measurements, but it's always like,
Throw a little bit of that
just a
in.
little bit of this, a little bit of that.
And then you put that in.
Oh, listen, I had a little old lady up in the Delta that had ordered a cookbook and I mailed it to her. And a month later, she calls me and says, it doesn't say how many cups of flour to put in there. And I'm like, and I'm supposed to know.
Right. Hey, listen
I just sold the thing,
I
right.
just sold you the thing. What do you want to do?
I didn't write
I was
the
like,
recipe.
lady, I didn't do all these recipes.
Yeah, good luck.
Gosh. And
Well, you always just make up a number.
Yeah, right. Just make up a
4
number
cups.
and go
Yeah,
with it.
all right, bye.
well, I did use common sense. I looked up similar recipes and stuff and told her, we'll try this.
Right.
Okay.
She didn't call
Hope
back.
it works. Yeah.
The Lord blessed us with a noggin. We need to use
Yeah.
it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So very good. So, of course, they'll be on sale starting tomorrow.
Starting tomorrow, and we'll also have the Rata knives that are awesome.
Yeah, we mentioned the knives last time
they're
around.
not
yeah.
really expensive knives, but they're great knives, and they don't wear out. And as long as you got a sharpener, keep them sharp. They're wonderful. I mean, you will lose it, or somebody will take it before you ever, wear it out.
Right.
It's impossible. And it's my go-to. I've got all kinds of expensive knives, and I always use my Rata knives.
So get some knives and a cookbook. It's
Well, it
that's
makes
Christmas
sense.
shopping right there. Yeah,
it
I know
is.
Wow.
We do sell lots of the sets for Christmas presents.
Okay.
And you wouldn't believe how many of the Belle's Best cookbooks. And by the way, we just had our had it reprinted, and it probably won't ever be printed again because we're all getting old and we're, and fading out, and we're the only ones left in the state that still really actively sell the cookbooks.
Wow.
And when these go away, there won't be any more. So you might better stock up.
I know my wife, whenever she moved up from Florida, she said, I've got to get me one of these cookbooks. And that was on her Christmas list one year. And it's iconic. It sits right there amongst all the other cookbooks. And it's just like, it sits right there on the outside. I was like, there it is. And she goes to it all the time. My mom does as well. So it's iconic. But so if folks ever want to get one, you might want to jump on this right now.
Definitely. And you know, and then those that are ragged and they want to replace them. I kind of hate to replace my ragged one because it opens up to my favorite recipes. But, you know, it's just part of it. So I don't mind that so much. Also, I do want everybody to know our proceeds are used locally for different charities and stuff. We help the veterans home. Every Christmas we have a little party for them and give them gifts and stuff. We help Feed by Faith, Relay for Life, I'm going to say the word wrong, Coalition of Christian Athletes or something like that.
Fellowship of Christian
Athletes. Fellowship.
Yeah,
I knew the word was wrong. You know, several things like that, but that's what our money goes toward. That's what we do it for.
Okay.
So helping out a good cause here locally is a lot of good causes.
That's right.
So with the cookbook sales. So you guys will be doing this all week starting tomorrow, right?
Yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Is it just this week only? You're going to have
Just
multiple?
this week.
Just this week
This
only?
week. I always tell people, now, if you want to write my number down in the back of the book, call me when you need one, you know, kind of thing. I do ship a lot.
There we go. Well, look at that.
What hours are you there?
8:30 to 5.
8:30. Wow, all day long.
All day
8:30
long.
to 5 tomorrow,
Yep.
Thursday, and Friday.
Yep.
That's it.
So
And
you
we
got no excuse not to get over
No
there.
excuse. And we do not do credit cards. We're not set up for that.
All right, so
okay.
cash only.
Cash, we will take checks. We're going to look at you real hard.
I was like, say, what's the vetting process on that?
Let me look at that. We have found thugs don't buy cookbooks.
Yeah, it's probably true.
Very true. Very true.
The criminal element doesn't do a whole lot of cooking.
Now, the knives,
maybe that's
Yeah,
a good
well, there
point.
you go.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
fair enough, right?
If you buy a knife, you got to get a cookbook.
Okay.
Oh, so yeah, it's a bundle
rule,
package.
yeah.
It's a bundle package. There you go. So, but you got how many years has this been going on now?
Since the early 80s, because this
Yeah.
cookbook came out in like 81.
I thought it was
think.
early 80s. Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought
and
so.
they used to sell them where you went to pay your phone bill every month. They'd
Yeah.
set up out there selling cookbooks, and then we've always done our annual cookbook sale, and we sell them at Canton Flea Market still. So we literally have to come from Meridian over to Jackson to sell them for them, though. But you know, that's another story. But we
We'll
like
get
it.
into that.
We enjoy it.
Leave that one alone.
So
But yeah, since the 80s, it's been a great fundraiser for the pioneers.
40 years.
40 years
Yeah,
and
40
rolling.
plus. Yeah. Wow.
But like she said, if you want one of these, you might need to get on this because you never know when might not be available anymore. So, so starting tomorrow at 8:30.
Yep.
8:30 until 5 tomorrow,
Yep.
Thursday and Friday. And once again, just look for the big banner.
That's right.
Across
Big
from
banner.
Citadel. You can't miss it right there at the AT&T building right
Sure.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what to get mom, then there you go. It's a good option. Get her a cookbook.
If she's got that one, we've got plenty of others. And we do have some real popular Southern cookbooks that aren't pioneers, but they're Southern.
there. Oh, so you got other
we
options.
do.
Those
That's
are
the
good
good
books.
ones.
Okay. Oh, good.
Just
All
buy a
right.
whole volume of
Right.
And most of them,
cookbooks.
everybody always asks how much. Most all of them are $20 now.
Okay.
Oh, that's a steal right
No,
there.
it's not bad.
Especially when you know where the money's going. It's going back here locally into our community. That's perfect right there. So,
Amen on that.
So, what else is going on in your world, Teresa, other than cookbooking?
Working real hard for auction company and shoot, I don't know what I do with my time, but I
was about
I
to
stay so
say.
busy.
There it goes. Yeah.
Here we go. I love
I'm
it.
telling you, it's just wild.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we love this event. We love plugging it, and it starts tomorrow, downtown Meridian, right across from City Hall there at the AT&T building. You can't miss the big banner right there. The Bell's Best Cookbooks will go on sale starting tomorrow morning, 8:30 until 5. And if you miss them tomorrow, no worries. Y'all are back there on Thursday
That's right.
and Friday. And you've got knives on sale as well. Good knives for
The Rada knives.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the Rada
definitely.
knives and other cookbooks as well. So fantastic. And all the money stays right here locally in our area to support some great organizations that she mentioned a few moments ago. So love it, love it, love it.
Definitely.
Fantastic. Teresa, always good to see you.
Thank you. Tell everybody to come see me.
I'll do
We'll
it.
Send them down there.
We'll send Roger down there to buy a stack.
A little hobbled, but yeah, we'll send them down.
He's a little hobbled, but he'll be back. So,
Aw.
all right, we're going to take a break here on Mornings of Meridian. We'll be back. Little Richard, of course, passed away in 2020. Would have been 91 today. Born Richard Wayne Penniman. Little Richard. Good golly, Miss Molly.
And he died in 2020.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was during the pandemic time.
Yeah. Okay.
Did COVID get him?
I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of one of those that, if you told me he died in 91, I've been like, oh, okay. I mean.
Everybody always goes back to when it's 2020. I was like, did the COVID get him? Did the COVID get him? Love some Little Richard, but on the birthday list today. 601-485-9191, and I know we got a caller on the line. Caller, hang on just 1 minute because we got to talk about some great folks here in Meridian, Lauderdale County, and that is our friends down at Purvis Business Machine. Service, not excuses, is their motto, and they live by it down there at Purvis.
You want to talk about document management, they are the people to call, and, of course, they have connectivity. They will connect your copier, printer, scanner, you're all in one to every device that you have, and they'll do it for you. And they're just wonderful folks down there. They also have lease return color copiers. You can save up to 85% on those. Can't save up to 85% on anything these days except for a lease return color copier at Purvis. Check them out online, gopurvis.com. Of course, they've got a wonderful showroom at 4505 Highway 39 North, or you just give them a call, and this number's remember, 601-3-COPY. And as you said, their motto, they live by it, and they really do. Service, not excuses. Been doing it since 1979. That is Purvis Business Machines.
All right, let's go back to the phone line this morning. Hey, caller, welcome in.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, sir.
Just a bit ago, I think I heard the Brownsville school bond lady call.
Yes, yeah. She called right before the news break there. Of course, we were talking garbage.
That's right.
And about that fire truck potentially being purchased with surplus money.
Yeah, cobbled together from various accounts.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, that seems to be a common conversation when it comes to local spending.
Yeah, the way they noted this in the article, they said the board has been using reserve garbage funds, pandemic stimulus money, and general fund dollars to keep costs for residents low, is what they said.
Well, in our microcosm of governing, that kind of sounds like combining the war in Ukraine with Israel and the southern border.
Right.
Yeah. Package it all together.
Right. But Charles brought up a great point earlier, but the millage rates continue to go up.
Yeah. Some time ago, when the county was doing their, I think is kind of a usual 4-year bond, that they refer to now as the Road, Bridge, and Recreation Fund. If you look on your property tax that you pay in the border, it says on there about the money going to, it's automobile tax, goes to collected for the usage of road and bridge. I don't think they've added recreation on there yet. However, some of the concerned citizens may be preceding Citizens for Good Governance required an itemization of how that bond money was spent. Couldn't help but think about it when I heard her talking about it. And there was things included in there like shop rags. That may not be a hard hit in the volume of the money necessarily, but there again, I also, while I was waiting for your call, was thinking about her calling about anyone that had some additional information on the Brownsville stuff. When the county got ready to buy that, they had an expert that helped them with the Brownsville issue. He was the son of Jerry Hess, who was one of Hartley Peavy's top employees or management persons. I believe he's in Citronelle with a fruit farm, if he's still with us. But the son, I think, was out of Jackson.
Okay.
With some outfit. But anyhow, I never heard from her. I don't know if y'all were able to forward my number to her.
If that was who called earlier, we can get in touch with you after the show, and I can give you that information if that's who was just on the phone a minute ago.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Actually, I'm looking back through right now, and that phone number is not popping up on my screen over here. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Mine or hers?
Hers.
I see.
Yeah, it's not because we have the peek behind the curtain. We have caller ID.
Oh.
And, yeah, I'm not seeing her number pop up on my review thing over here. She may have it where she doesn't want us to have it, maybe. I don't know.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine, yeah.
When we talk about the cobbling these things together, whether it's city or county, as I was waiting, I was thinking about repeating the process or the discussion of the concern. And when we were kids, you might remember some of these rhymes that people would tell you. You can't say this 5 times, I bet you. You know, round the rugged rock, the ragged rascal ran.
Mm-hmm. You can say it once. What are you talking about?
Say it
5
once,
times?
Yeah, and I had a musician that we were discussing I guess this same thing used in music that's an onomatopoeia. And he wasn't from the Juilliard School of Music, but he did give me a hypothetical, I guess you'd call it, that was Sherry sells seashells down by the seashore.
It's a good one. I like it.
But maybe at some point, as one of your callers has suggested, we can get Shad White over here so that we don't commingle so much of our funds on these expenditures that come up on a regular basis.
What about there's a part of this article here that the board attorney, Lee Thagard, was quoted in here. He said the public should understand the increases for those living outside of Meridian and Marion limits. Both the city of Meridian and the town of Marion have separate garbage service. What is the fee on that? Of course, they said they attach it to the water bills here in the city and over in Marion. I wonder what that cost is.
Yeah, I get one of those from the city on a regular basis, but I can't tell you off the cuff exactly.
Yeah, because it says on here they just included on the water bills for Marion and Meridian.
But you would assume there's a breakdown on those bills.
Yeah, you would think
this
so.
This much for water, this much for garbage, and whatever else.
Sure.
Very
break down, go ahead and give it to me.
There you go.
Right.
Fantastic. So,
thank you.
All right, thank you. All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye. 601-485-9191 is garbage. Still a topic.
We're staying trashy.
Staying trashy. Let's go back to the phone line. Hey, caller, good morning.
Morning. I've been listening this morning, and I recognize the man that called in, and he's very informed in our community. And I believe the earlier caller would like to talk to him. So I can get my contact number to him.
Okay.
But the other point was I did go to the board meeting.
Okay, good.
And listen to what, the concerns were. And one question that was asked was it the contract specifically that really impacted us? And Chris Lafferty never did answer that. He just told us about the increase that everybody gets, every company gets. Well,
okay.
Oh, you still there? I think she may have been disconnected somehow. I think the county was listening in.
Yeah,
hello.
Right.
Good morning. Yeah, I think her connection lost there with us. But call back at 485-9191. So it says she was at the board meeting yesterday, and there was more discussion regarding garbage. So, but we'll get into more of this coming up next hour. I know it's a hot topic right now, and we got some other local stories to get into. But yeah, call back. Something happened there with your phone. 485-9191. But we got to take a break right now because we got Fox News coming up in just seconds here on Mornings in Meridian. welcome back into hour number 2 of Mornings in Meridian, about 10 minutes into the 8 o'clock hour. Our number, 601-485-9191. We'd love to hear from you this morning here on this 5th day of December as those shopping days are dwindling down.
Yeah. Go get yourself a cookbook.
Yeah, wow. Cookbook, exactly. So appreciate Teresa Westbrook visiting us last hour. Of course, the Bell's Best Cookbooks go on sale today, beginning at 8:30, and they're going to be there at the old AT&T building there in downtown Meridian, right across the street from City Hall. You can't miss the big banner there. They'll be there today, tomorrow, and Friday, 8:30 until 5 each day. Of course, it's going to be a big sale. Of course, all the proceeds go back to local charities here in Lauderdale County.
Bring cash.
Yeah, bring cash. That they would love cash. No credit cards are accepted down there. Just the cash, and like I said, they might take a check.
Maybe.
And she said they're going to
look too sketchy.
Yeah, they're going to look at you funny. But anyway, I love that. Before we get back into this whole trash discussion, still some more points to make on that. We need to thank our friends down at Battery One Source.
That's right. You know, when it gets cold, things don't start. There's only one place to go, and that's Battery One Source, 2618 North Frontage Road. You can give them a call, 601-693-1500. Of course, they're located between exit 152 and 153 on North Frontage Road. Batteries for every need and description. Watches, remote cell phones, even laptop computers. You know, if your laptop computer doesn't have a battery, it's a desktop. Well, make it a laptop once again. Go get a new battery at Battery One Source. They've got a cell phone repair guy, best guy in the business as well. And, of course, you know, Christmas Day, you don't want to open those gifts with no batteries. Go get you all the batteries you need for that Christmas morning. Battery One Source, your one source for batteries. 2618 North Frontage Road, 601-693-1500, open 8 to 4:30, Monday through Friday.
Just got a message from a dear friend on Facebook a few moments ago. It says, last night on WTOK, Supervisor Wells said that the county does not make money off of the garbage fee. So how do we have a surplus?
Right, and that's a good question.
Yeah, and that was a part of their report last night as well. So
sure.
But we were talking about this off air a little bit more, and bottom line, folks, we're going to have to pay it. I mean, that's just part of this whole deal. I mean, I'm not happy about it. I think a lot of folks are not happy about it. It's extra money out of your pocket. Yeah. But I think we all would agree that the door-to-door pickup is great. I think the company that does this does a fantastic job. Yeah. I'm not happy about having to pay $68 more a year, but it's not that I have a problem with. No. The process of how this was handled is what I have a problem with.
And doesn't it have echoes of another process that happened earlier
School
this year?
bond issue.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah.
It's all of this stuff that is done without a lot of knowledge of the voting public, the citizenry, the folks that pay these taxes. And like I said, they had this board meeting on November the 6th. And this is a pretty important topic that they should have known was going to get a lot of backlash.
With that much of an increase,
and went ahead and voted on the increase, and it goes into effect, and folks get their cards in the mail, and like, oh, my gosh, hello. And, of course, they have
before Christmas.
And they have this special session yesterday, and, of course, they laid out everything on their end of it. But that's the biggest thing I have with it, is just it kind of reeks of the school bond deal.
It does. And of course, I think the big backlash for the school bond issue was the way that vote was conducted, and how it was kind of snuck in on a special election at the schools, that was trying to, I wouldn't say suppress votes, but certainly limit the number of, or limit the turnout. And, I kind of feel like they I wouldn't say did the same thing, but it certainly wasn't transparent and open. We talked about it, I guess, last week when the bills first started coming out and people started realizing this, that I think the best way to do that would be to issue a letter or a statement that justifying it, saying this is why we're doing it, instead of just sending those bills out and then kind of sending them and hoping hope nobody notices.
I think they're going to notice $68.
Right, exactly. But I think I will go back and say that $100 was a bargain.
Absolutely.
I mean, it really was. It was way underfunded, and it needed to be raised. And certainly they're justified in doing that. I think that they should have done that incrementally over the course of the last 13 years that it had been increasing. But once again, I think that there's a lack of transparency there.
Diane Nestor brings up a great point on Facebook. That's why we all need to attend these meetings, and I agree with that as well. Only problem is a lot of these 9 o'clock meetings. A lot of folks can't go to the 9 o'clock meetings, and the 5:30 ones. Yeah, we ought to all be there, and we have more transparency if folks would attend these meetings. I totally agree on that.
Now, do
as
they
well.
do they record them and then rebroadcast them? Can you watch them on YouTube? Is there a way to kind of access that information? Do they have transcripts that are released? I mean,
that's a good question. As far as rebroadcasting, not to my knowledge.
Okay.
I know the city council. That's been tried before.
Well, and the audio is so bad you can't even hear anything, so you can't understand what's going on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and of course, a lot of people say that may be intentional. But anyway, let's go to the phone line this morning. Hey, caller, good morning.
Good morning, and I could talk about trash all day and monster courthouses and how they moved before they had a road into it and all that. But
right.
But I called to remind you that today is Tuesday, and the cookbook sale starts tomorrow on Wednesday.
Right. Yeah, tomorrow. Right. Yeah. Bingo.
Okay, you were saying today real good. So
sorry.
Okay.
That's okay. Tomorrow.
We don't even know what day it is.
Yeah, we don't even know what day it is. Yeah.
Is it Monday today?
So
Friday?
Tomorrow. Yeah.
That's all right. Y'all can go back to talking about garbage now.
All right,
thank
we'll
you,
keep
dear.
it trashy. Wednesday,
Thank you,
Thursday,
guys.
Friday.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Wednesday,
book.
Thursday, Friday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. There we go. Wednesday,
right.
Thursday, Friday.
It's our
Cookbook sale.
mantra.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. There we go.
Okay.
When
Yeah.
is it? So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. As we put this whole trash deal to bed here with the county, but bottom line is tax collector Doris Speidel said that her office will work with the residents to take those partial payments on the garbage fee if that $168 is too much for folks to pay at one time. And, and for some folks, let's be real, it may be. State law gives residents until May the 1st to pay the full amount, after which a card tag cannot be renewed until the debt is paid off. So that's the biggest thing that's always been tied in with your garbage fee.
And you wonder, okay, there's a garbage surplus. They've admitted to that. But then why not have people apply for, aid if they need it for this increase and say, okay, I've got, this is my income. Can I get, supplemental aid for this? Of course, that might be a paperwork nightmare. But still, I mean, why not have those funds to help people who need assistance with that?
Sure. I don't know. But anyway, it sounds like to me there was a decent turnout at the meeting yesterday, and some folks let their voices be heard out there yesterday. But
I think, once again, going back to the school board issue and how it, or school bond issue and how it relates to this, is that I don't think that people necessarily have an issue with the amount because, as I said, even at $168 a year, it's still a good deal when you look at what Newton County is doing. And I'd still be curious to know what the city charges and also Marion, but I suspect it's more than $100 a year when you break it down from the water bill, separate the two out. So it's not the issue of the amount. I think the increase is a problem, but also I think that the lack of full disclosure about the increase and kind of the way that it was conducted right around the election. And so, and that could have been just a coincidence, in all fairness.
Well, and a lot of people I've talked to,
so much going on that nobody's paying attention to what's happening in a supervisory meeting.
A lot of people have said that to me. It's like it's convenient that this happened the day before and we all head to the polls to go vote in the general election. And I'm echoing what folks have told me. This is not from Rob. This is from folks I've talked to. And supervisors, don't get offended when you hear this. It's the slings and arrows that come with being in public office. A lot of folks have said to me, you know what, it's kind of ironic this happens the day before election when some of them are not even on the ballot and they're unopposed. Yeah. Just saying it. That's what folks have said to me.
So much. Everybody's focused on the election, and you're being inundated with ads, and there's so many distractions that I don't think they snuck it in there.
And we just got done a month earlier with that hot button issue with the school bond where folks had to go to a different precinct, and that really took a lot of attention too.
And the response to that overwhelmingly no vote was because of the way the election was conducted. I believe. Now there were some who they didn't want the tax increase and they thought that it was excessive for the CTE program, but I think that a lot of people just had an anger. It was an emotional response to the way it was conducted more than anything else.
And I said this yesterday when we were talking about the meeting they were having yesterday at 9 o'clock. I said, you know what? We already have a distrust at the federal level, and that's never going to be repaired, bottom line. But when you feel like at a local level that you're not being given full transparency, but you're given all the information after the fact, and I'm putting myself in the shoes of the Board of Supervisors. In their defense, they're saying, hey, we had the meeting on November 6th. Those are open meetings. Folks can attend those. I get it. I understand. But for a lot of folks, they can attend all those meetings.
Well,
So,
I think, as you said, though, there is this mistrust of government on the federal and probably the state level as well that is trickling down to the local level. And so people are looking for it now and saying, see, I can't trust them, even if their intent was not to be deceptive. It's still the interpretation that a lot of people have, because it's just kind of confirming their lack of trust in government in general. And so I think that, that all government officials need to be aware of that and say, we're going to go on the other side and err on the side of caution to be more than transparent, or more transparent than we would normally be, just so that everybody's aware of all the actions that we're taking.
Because at the federal and state level, I mean, let's face it, what can we really do to affect change there? But locally, man.
Yeah.
If you can't have it locally, man, what can you do?
Sure. That's exactly right.
I'm just saying.
You lose faith in the whole system.
Absolutely. So, but like I said, 2 new Board of Supervisors will be going onto the board this go around. Obviously, J.J. Anders there in District 1, Wayman Newell there in District 2. Excuse me, Craig Houston. I'm sorry.
Houston,
yeah,
right.
Wayman Newell is going to be out of there, and Mr. Houston will be going in. So 2 new members there, and we'll kind of see what their thoughts are going to be on this process going forward, because they're going to have to jump in the deep end of the pool, I believe.
That's right. It's cold water.
When things get going, so that's for sure.
The deep end of the dumpster, I think, is what it is.
Yeah,
right?
deep end of the... You talking about them green boxes?
Bring him
I
back.
want my dump site.
Don't bring him back,
Don't
please.
bring the dump site.
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
come on, man.
I first moved here, I was like, you mean I got to take my garbage to a dump? You got to be kidding me.
Great story.
What year is this?
Great story. One time, I was behind somebody going past one of those green boxes. All of a sudden, I saw like the window roll down. They slowed down in front of me, and they did like this whole motion where they chunked like a fast food bag over the car, trying to hit it into the green box, and it just fell short. And I'm like, yay!
And they kept going.
And it just
I missed that one.
And they just
It's like a
kept
game,
on.
isn't
And
it?
it just kept on
You
going.
gonna hit it? We missed. Oh, well.
And I'm
Keep
like,
going.
and
Drive
I'm,
faster.
I'm like, gosh almighty.
Yeah.
But we remember those green boxes, just how, I mean, folks would leave. I mean, and Todd brought up here the white goods, like your refrigerators and, the big items like that. And folks would leave those at the green, the dump sites,
Couches,
too.
all kinds of stuff.
And then you
Cats.
have to, and then when they had to go dump all of that, that was, you couldn't just take it to the actual landfill. You had to process that in a different location.
Take that one out, move that one. Yeah.
So that was just a nightmare from start to finish right there with those sites. But I remember seeing a guy do just, it's going to be a game of basketball
Right,
from my
exactly.
car.
Oh, you know it is. You probably do that every week.
Probably does.
Once a day.
Probably did it without the green boxes too.
Yeah.
So, but so like I said,
Do that in
that's
my yard, but
so they
anyway,
had the
gotta
meeting
pick it up.
yesterday. That's where we're at. You got to pay your $168. Nothing was going to change about that. It was basically just kind of a gripe session yesterday. So, and rightfully so. And I get that for folks that wanted to hear from Mr. Lafferty, the board, and other folks too. And of course, Rush Mayatt, the road manager, he was a part of this as well. And we mentioned this in the article earlier from the Meridian Star, doing some great reporting on this. Mayatt said the county also has some other projects in motion that have the potential to also impact garbage service and cost. He said the board back in March approved a new solid waste plan for the county, and several of the items in that plan included a proposed solid waste transfer station that could help garbage costs lower for county residents for years to come. So that was back in March of earlier this year.
And just to kind of reiterate the point of $168 a year, that's $3.25 a week for garbage pickup.
$3.25 a week.
$3, for them to take it away. And for me not to drive to the dumpster, that's worth $3 for me, I'd say.
Miss Diane Nestor just commented on this. I figured it would be worth putting up there because I live in this district. She said that her garbage can was left in the road and was hit. She said, I asked Kyle Rutledge how many garbage cans have had to be replaced because the cans weren't put back off the road. Still would like an answer to that question.
Interesting. Okay.
So,
and I've never,
that's an interesting point.
I guess on our route, the guys are, my cans are always to the side of the road, but I never see one in the middle of the road whenever, anybody else's can for that matter.
Sure.
So I've never encountered that.
So that's a fair question. So, Kyle, somebody's trying to find you, buddy, to answer that question. So appreciate Miss Diane watching on Facebook this morning. So we figured we'd throw that out there because it does affect District 5 there. with somebody's can having to be replaced.
I'd imagine there's a number that you can call and complain about that and
Sure.
say, I either need a replacement can, you guys need to watch it. I mean, this route is, we need a little more attention to it.
Absolutely.
But anyway.
Well, our number is 485-9191. You can call and gripe with us all day long. We'd love to hear from you. But as we move on here, another guy that always faces the slings and arrows of politics is Billy Adam Calvert.
He does.
I tell you what, he does run a good business down in Meridian at Southern Business Supply, though.
That's right. Locally family owned and operated for 38 years. And Southern Business Supply, it's everything you need for your home office or your office. All you got to do is go online at southernbusinesssupply.com, and, you can order pens, pencils, staplers. But also full lines of office furniture and home office furniture as well. They have an in-house decorator on staff for all your decorating needs. You can check out their showroom, which is wonderful, at 5685 Dale Drive. But what I do is go online, southernbusinesssupply.com, order those pens, pencils, and so on, and it's delivered the next day. Can't beat that. It's faster than that big company that starts with an A that I don't like to use. Yeah. That's right. Give them a call, 601-485-2447. Of course, go see them. But as I said, southernbusinesssupply.com is the easiest way to do it. Buy local, your money stays here, and just say no to the big box stores. Southern Business Supply.
We did mention earlier this morning, and I know you've seen this in various media reports, a portion of Lizelia Road is temporarily closed for a bridge replacement. Yeah. There is a alternate route that you have to take during that time, and I know you're a big fan of this story.
Well, I feel like they're picking on me and people who live in my neighborhood because,
the county's picking on me.
Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
Well, no, because they did the bridge on Lizelia, which took, 3, 4, 5 months, something like that.
Sure.
The Big Bend Bridge, right before Van Zyverden. And that's, I take Lizelia into work. And so they repaired that. Beautiful, well done.
Absolutely.
I mean, really nice. And then they did the Meridian Bridge. In record time, I might add, but that also created a detour through, Old Marion Road
back in that area,
which is fine, and
sure.
And so it's just another kind of inconvenience. And now I go down Lizelia, and Lizelia right before Briarwood, if you're heading into town, that bridge, which needed to be replaced, is being replaced. So I'm forever being rerouted wherever I go. But hey, that's
Y'all know that fellow Frazier?
Yeah.
We're going to make him drive everywhere.
You're going to be late to the radio every day.
There you go.
So late today. But no.
Do they have signs up and stuff like that?
They do. And so you're I guess you can't, if you're going down Lizelia towards Marion, towards town, then you've got to turn right on Pond Hills.
Okay.
I don't think, there's no other access because it's the bridge before Briarwood.
Gotcha.
Now, if you're coming up Lizelia, towards the Naval Air Station, then you need to turn a left on Briarwood or go up 45 or up 39 and access wherever you're going to another way. But you can always go around, down Briarwood and then Chapel and then back to Pond Hills and then around and back up to Lizelia if you need to go that way. But that's kind of circuitous. But,
it is what it is.
We're getting a new bridge,
There you go.
and well needed, or much needed, I'm sure.
And of course, I don't know how many folks have been out to the North Hills area lately, but obviously they're doing a lot of resurfacing out there, and it is very dusty out there. And they've been working on that the last several days, and they'd started that project right after the Thanksgiving holidays, and I was over there late last week, and it is tricky. Don't get me wrong. It is tricky down there.
It's always tricky on North Hills.
Yeah, but with all of that work going on, obviously they'll have one lane shut down and one the other.
Well, when you factor in the bad drivers with no insurance, and,
that too,
and then the lanes and the dust, it's it's like, I'm just confused. Yeah, so
absolutely. So, but do be careful in that area. But with Lizelia Road, just be aware that project is going on right now. So, also another road and bridge news. Of course, we mentioned Wayne Manuel's name a few times this morning. Of course, on the Board of Supervisors. The Lauderdale County Board of Supervisors approved the naming of the bridge on Dale Drive for Wayne Manuel. Yeah, the brand new one. Of course, he recently lost his bid for re-election to Craig Houston by 27 votes. And TOK quoted this. I thought it was great. It's interesting to look back to when Newell was first elected in District 2. 16 years ago, at the time, he defeated incumbent Jimmy Smith.
Wow.
The current mayor of Meridian by 25 votes.
Really?
in that race.
A slim margin there.
How do you like that?
Yeah, that's wild. Okay.
So, but of course, the swearing-in ceremony for all of the new county officials and whatnot will be on December the 31st at 2 in the afternoon at the new government center.
Okay.
So, but
December the 31st.
Yeah, very interesting. That
Okay,
is on a
that's a
Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting as well. But Mr. Neal's done a lot of great things for our county, lots of years. I thought that was an interesting historical tie-in there. He can always say, you know what? Beat the mayor of Meridian one time in an election.
And he's got so we go over the bridge and we pay our little respect to Wayman and the great job that he's done. And as we get stopped at the B Street, was the A Street light, we can thank Roger for that. So Roger has his light.
Right.
And Wayman has his bridge.
Right. Okay. All right, we're just going to blow through Fox News here because we got some more phone calls on the line here. Hey, caller, good morning to you.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How y'all doing today?
We're hanging in there.
Hanging in there like a hair in a biscuit.
That's
you darn right.
Yeah.
Welcome to fast food restaurants.
Yeah, exactly.
Where they don't wear hairnets anymore.
Oh, God.
I don't know the last time you guys paid attention, but they don't wear hairnets.
I don't even want to be reminded. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Just don't go in and buy food from them. Or food-like substances from them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Hey, man, I just wanted to give to all the listeners, man, for all the people that came out to the Bikers United for Children Toy Run that happened this past Saturday, man, I wanted to give a big shout-out to everybody who showed up. I know there was a big kind of cloud hanging over what the weather was going to do. We didn't have as many bikes as we had. As a matter of fact, it's probably one of the smallest turnout of motorcycles that we've had over the past 13 years, this being the 13th year. Well, I'd say past 12 years. But we raised more money this time than we ever have. So between our platinum, gold, and silver sponsors, like if anybody's listening, like thank you guys so much. It was a really, really good turnout, man, in spite of the weather. It was really awesome. It was a great time, and there's going to be a lot of unfortunate, kids who are less fortunate have Christmas that wouldn't, have what they have. So
Fantastic.
If anybody's listening, man, you guys rocked it this year, man. That was a great job.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear the event went fantastic, and that just is testimony to our community, how great our community is.
People showed up and showed out, man. Like I said, we only had about 70 or so bikes, but financially, it blew my mind. Everybody was praying for a number, and it went past that number. So It was great.
That's awesome.
That is great to hear.
Yeah.
Well,
had a toy hauler full of toys too now.
Good deal. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Awesome. So you guys have a great morning. Keep doing what y'all are doing, man.
All right. Appreciate you out there.
I appreciate you.
All right, 601-485-9190. That's great to hear. I'm glad to hear the toy drive was fantastic back on Saturday because I know the weather was a big concern.
It was
for things going on Saturday, but everything kind of went on as planned, and glad to hear that. So, did get another comment here. We're going back into trash here real quick. I'm going to post this comment here on our page here. Miss Diane said she did call ADSI's local number, which is in Alabama. The lady asked, "Where are you calling from?" I told her Lauderdale County, Mississippi. I asked her, "Where are you located?" She said, "Alabama." She informed me to call the tax collector's office to request a new can.
Okay.
Interesting. Trying to process that one. That's interesting.
It is, and it seems that, then the county is not only collects the bills, but also provides the service, I guess. That seems like a lot for the county to do when you've got a private contractor that's picking up the garbage. Yeah, you're paying the county and they pay them, but still should be a direct line of communication between the consumer and the company that's providing the service. Because having, the tax collector's office, and then they've probably got to go through and order another can through the company, it's an extra step. But anyway, all right.
When government's involved, it's always fun.
Yep.
We're going to take a break here on Mornings Meridian. Got to pay some bills here real quick. Got Your Money Now next, and we'll take more of your phone calls in just moments. 485-9191. We'll be back. Some more Gary Allen this morning. Of course, turning 56. Of course, he made a stop at the Neshoba County Fair years ago. Also missed this birthday. Frankie Muniz, of course, from Malcolm in the Middle. Played one of the...
Oh, yeah.
Wrap this around your mind.
Okay.
He's 38 now.
Really?
Well, of course, he was on Dancing with the Stars, winning third place in the 25th season. Didn't know he did Dancing with the Stars, so I know you're a big fan. So
Huge fan.
Huge
I
fan
mean,
of Dancing with the
that's
Stars.
what I want to see is a bunch of, well, whatever.
We were sitting at home one night, and they had an advertisement come on for that, and then was it The Masked Singer on Fox?
God.
And I just sat back and I was like, you know what? That's why our society's getting so dumb, is because of shows like this.
Not only shows like that, but the amount of people that watch them. And, obviously there's a demand for it because they keep coming up with dumber and dumber
And by the way,
stuff, shall I say.
The Bachelor and Bachelorette,
Oh.
it's scripted reality. It's not real.
Yeah, I've never seen one of those. Don't intend
Okay,
to.
I'm done now.
Yeah,
I'm
that it?
done.
That's all you got?
I'm done.
Okay.
I just exuded all my energy in that rant. So.
You did well. Yeah, I liked it. Okay. Good job.
20 minutes away from the 9 o'clock hour at 485-9190. Need to thank Danny Shelton and the staff down at Premier Paint and Body because, folks, you're going to be doing the hustle and bustle around town shopping. You never know. You might not be paying attention and boop, you're going to pop into somebody and fender bender might happen. Well, if it happens, take it to Premier.
That's right. And after you ask if they have insurance or not,
that too.
the next thing you do is call Premier Paint and Body. And, of course, their number, easy to remember, 601-482-PAINT. Whether it's a ding, a dent, a scratch, or something bigger than that, Danny Shelton and the crew can help you fix it. Like new results, no job is too small or too large. Of course, auto body repair and painting. And they also do automotive glass replacement as well. They give you a free estimate, work with their insurance company, and all of their work has a lifetime warranty. And you really need a guy who's technically inclined because there are so many sensors and cameras and all kinds of different stuff in those new cars. And Danny Shelton and his crew know how to deal with all of that stuff because they are the premier paint and body shop in town. Go see them right next to Johnson Dodge on Highway 39 North, open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. And that number again, 601-482-PAINT, Premier Paint and Body.
All right, Danny, appreciate you guys down there at Premier Paint and Body.
Yes, indeed.
Next couple of nights, a lot of eyeballs are going to be on the presidential, the cycle, I guess you would say, because tonight, and let's just go and call this is what it is. Okay, so tonight, Sean Hannity, who's been in the news a lot lately, of course, you can hear him on WALT later on today at 2. He is going to have what they're calling a town hall with President Trump in Davenport, Iowa, later on tonight over on the big Fox News channel at 8. And, Charles, can we just say it's not a town hall? It's more or less just Hannity and Trump just kind of having
it's not a hall.
It's
right.
just a discussion
just
because
Sean and Don.
When I hear town hall, I think of there's a line of voters who get to ask questions. Yeah. And they might have some of that tonight, but it's not going to be completely that tonight.
No.
So they've had these town halls with other candidates in the past, and it's more or less Sean Hannity just, bringing up the same talking points over and over again. And then about 5 minutes of it will be the citizens actually
why
asking
compete?
questions.
I mean, I think it would be a better strategy for Trump to look at the debate on Wednesday and then respond on Thursday and say, look, this is the problem with these guys, or whatever it is. I mean, that would be a smarter thing so people can look at those candidates and you'd be impressed with Nikki Haley and maybe Ron DeSantis and then irritated with Chris Christie or whatever is going to be the sequence. And then Trump the next day, I mean, it seems from a marketing perspective that would be a more effective strategy than try to compete with it.
Yeah.
And I understand he wants to kind of steal a spotlight from them, but I think that it would really be better to listen to what they have to say and then respond in kind and say, okay, let's talk about some of that and let me talk about what I'm going to do.
Yeah, you did mention the debate is going to be over in Tuscaloosa tomorrow night at the University of Alabama. They'll be hosting the Republican presidential debate. It's just going to be over on News Nation is where this debate's going to be televised on. So check your local listings, News Nation. I think Megyn Kelly is going to be one of the moderators on this. The Republican National Committee has announced that Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, Chris Christie, and Vivek Ramaswamy will be taking the stage during Wednesday's debate. Of course, there was a lot more strenuous guidelines they had to meet to get on stage. Of course, we mentioned Doug Burgum dropped out yesterday, which he has not been a part of the last 2 debates. So we're kind of getting down to the last just handful of folks that are involved in the process. Of course, Rick Scott dropped out already. I expect
Tim
some
Scott,
more.
yeah.
Tim Scott, yeah. But so Haley, DeSantis, Christie, and Ramaswamy will be on the stage tomorrow night. How you it's dwindled down to 4. So how do we expect this to roll tomorrow
it's
night?
odd because you mentioned that earlier, and you said 4, and I was like, all right, obviously Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, and Ramaswamy. And I was like, who is the 4th? And you said Christie, and I thought, really?
Who are the two that you cannot take seriously in this tomorrow night?
I liked initially the energy and the conversation that Ramaswamy started. I think he's kind of entered into the annoying stage, kind of like a kind of thing. And I think he needs to tone that back a little bit. I think he does bring a lot of good things to the conversation, but I think that Haley and DeSantis are the clear front runners at this point. And Haley is really positioning herself. She is just smart, communicates well, handles herself great on the stage. So, I think that she kind of has the edge now. DeSantis did have a good showing with his Newsom, oddly enough, debate, which that whole thing was weird. But anyway, I think that he did fairly well in that. So, we'll see what happens. I think that those two are going to have the targets on them from Christie Christie's going to attack Trump, of course. But,
sure.
I think that the attacks are going to be mostly against Haley. I think she is kind of the front runner. I don't know what the polls say. That's just kind of the feeling that I get, and I don't think that's my own personal opinion. As far as my feelings towards it, I think that's kind of the sense that I get from the media and various different outlets. What are your thoughts?
The whole Trump, the Trump factor is still on the board. He is leading by 30 or 40 points in a lot of these caucus states already. I mean, you can't ignore that. But as far as, I think this right now basically is who is the other option. If this Trump stuff with all these trials and everything that's going on right now up in New York and all these other various states, it's hard to. We'd be here all morning
listing. I think that's what
they're
betting, though, is that that's going to eliminate Trump from contention, and I think that if it doesn't, then I think they have to settle for second place, whoever it is.
Who is the clear alternative here? And I think that's where we're at right now. I think the clear alternative has come down between Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis. I think so right now, but. They are saying over at the University of Alabama, of course, security going to be a little bit tight tomorrow night for the debate. The university is anticipating about 1,000 people to fill the Moody Music Building to watch the debate between those candidates. Now, attendees, will have their own security, of course, those being on the debate stage. Yeah. And during the week, a lot of streets have been closed on campus, of course, getting security set to go. And also happening in Tuscaloosa this week there on campus is the Alabama Football State Championships for high schools are happening there in T-Town. So it's a pretty busy week for the University of Alabama. Of course, the playoff stuff from over the weekend, and of course this debate coming up tomorrow night. The high school football championships happening this weekend. So campus is pretty darn busy right now leading up to this. But Megyn Kelly is going to be one of the moderators. There's 2 other ones that just slipped my mind who they are. But once again, this 2 or 3 or 4 person moderating system that's something new that we haven't had a lot in the past. Usually it's been 1 person, maybe 2, but now we're getting to this whole let's have 3 or 4 in there, and just kind of muddies everything up a little bit.
It does, and I think that there's been a lack of control in the debates, and it's kind of shown a level of maturity that we don't want to see in our presidential candidates. Although we've seen that for the last 20 years, but 50 years, I don't know, 100 years, however long
all
it's been.
time.
Okay, pretty much, but they really, I don't think the moderators have control of the debates. They haven't, at least in the past couple. So
because even the other night with Newsom and Hannity, Newsom, Hannity, and DeSantis. I mean, Hannity did what he could to interject himself.
But it's like a teacher reprimanding students. It's like, come on,
and that's what it was. And it's like, was it one of the debates back during the Trump-Biden cycle where they cut the microphones off?
That's what they should do.
I think they did that during one debate because you could hear Trump kind of off in the distance talking, but they had cut his mic off.
Yeah.
So, is that something they might need to institute down the road?
I think they should. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll
That's
see.
it, and tell them, okay, in 10 seconds your mic's getting cut off, and they've got we know that you've got 10 seconds to get it out.
Because what was it when they were all on stage together? The very first one, what was it, like 10 people on stage or something like that?
Yeah.
How do you control that?
You can't.
Well,
you can, but you have to control it by saying these are the rules, and if you go over those, if you overstep the bounds, we're giving you clear time that you can talk, and after a minute and a half or whatever it is, 20 seconds, you're done.
Because that's when you had Scott on stage, you had Hutchinson, you had Burgum, Pence. I mean, all the folks that have basically
and all the guys in the background that were polling at 1% were trying to get their voice heard. Right. Let me speak, and so they're going to keep going as long as they could. Pay attention to me.
But I can tell you one thing tomorrow night. We'll talk more about the debate tomorrow being the day of, and of course Trump will have plenty of audio, I imagine, from that tonight with Hannity. But
that's the debate's tonight.
No, the debate's tomorrow night. Trump is tonight.
Okay. I thought he was competing with him on the same night.
Yeah, we're reversing on that. Yeah, Trump is tonight. Debate's tomorrow night.
Gotcha.
But bottom line is it's going to be Haley versus DeSantis tomorrow night.
I think so.
I think that's the way, because the campaign ads, if you watch a lot of news like we do, the DeSantis against Haley ads are really ramping up, and vice versa. And, of course, Haley just got that big super PAC this past week as well from the Coke Corporation. So, but those two are really going to go after each other tomorrow night.
And it's unfortunate because...
And, of course, you don't want to leave out Ramaswamy, because you remember the last debate where he took the jab at Nikki Haley, you know, with TikTok and her kids, and that got a little personal.
Was kind of a little low.
So I imagine he'll try to get his jabs in there. Of course, Chris Christie is just there to just there.
Why is he there?
What's the big boy doing there?
Free buffet.
Free buffet. They gonna feed him over in Alabama.
I'm going to that. Man. Free buffet.
Exactly.
Give me some barbecue. Well, and you know, it's disappointing because initially, and I know we got a break, but I was thinking DeSantis Haley is a great ticket. And now they're kind of attacking each other, so eating each other alive, and so I don't think that's viable at this point.
No, they're not going to be sending Christmas cards to one another, that's for sure. So we're going to take a break and pay off the rest of our bills and come back and wrap up the show after this. right, welcome back in. Just a few more minutes left here on Mornings in Meridian. Got time for maybe another phone call or two. 601-485-9191. Of course, got Glenn Beck coming up at 9, followed by Clay Travis and Buck Sexton. Of course, Sean Hannity at 2 o'clock. And then on your drive home, my man, Joe Pags. So great talk radio lineup to get you through your Tuesday. And before we take our next phone call, we need to thank our friends down at Trucker Supply.
That's right. More than just supplies for trucks. They've got, of course, supplies for every automobile. But more than that, it is Tool Central. One-stop shop for all your tools. And we're 19 days, I think, away from 19 shopping days left. Oh, boy. You better get down there and get something. They got a full room of Milwaukee tools. Everything they make, cordless power tools, saws, drills, impact drills, sanders, grinders, cutters, routers, grease guns, you name it. Milwaukee makes it, and they've got it. And, of course, they've got Yeti up there as well. Who doesn't want a Yeti mug for Christmas? I tell you what, they make great products. And, of course, they've got the coolers of every size, lunch boxes, even Yeti dog dishes. You want to get the dog something for Christmas? Yep, get them a dog dish. Trucker Supply, 519 Highway 19 South. Just great folks over there. They've been doing it since 1969. You might say they know what they're doing.
Before we get to that phone call here, Heisman finalists were announced yesterday for college football. Jaden Daniels, quarterback for LSU, is mentioned as a finalist. And if you go by stats, he's the clear-cut favorite right here. Bo Nix from Oregon, of course, played Auburn once upon a time.
Played at Auburn,
he is one of the finalists. Michael Penix Jr. from Washington is also in the mix. And then Ohio State wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. is also a finalist for the Heisman Trophy. And it's interesting fact here about the Heisman Trophy this go-around. Daniels, Nix, and Penix Jr. all transfer quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Of course, Daniels played at Arizona State once upon a time. Nix at Auburn, obviously, and Michael Penix Jr. at Indiana at one point. So 3 transfer quarterbacks in the mix. So the portal is here to stay.
And all deserving. I mean, it's
absolutely.
not one of those where there's a clear favorite. You know, Penix, I saw him play a little bit of that Oregon game, and whew.
Yeah, he's a stud.
Kid, I mean,
wow,
and
Harrison,
what an arm.
And Harrison, that wide
just like
receiver.
his old man.
Yeah.
I mean, my goodness,
Good.
I mean, Dan, you can go on and on about all of them.
Yeah,
They're all worthy.
Those 4 guys are going to make a lot of money next year.
Yes, they are.
Let's go to the phone calls. Last phone call of the day. Good morning.
We'll talk about the portal later. There's something more important.
The portal.
This is one of the greatest days in American history observed on this day.
Wow, December the 5th.
All right.
Yep, that's it. The 21st Amendment was ratified. The government righting a wrong. I think that's the only time the government's ever righted a wrong that they made, isn't it?
They've made a lot of wrongs.
I was about to
sure.
say.
They don't write them very often. Yeah, it's a good point.
The 21st Amendment appealed the 18th Amendment, and we were presented again with beer.
Yep.
Wow.
And all the other stuff, too.
How about that?
So that's it. Happy Beer Day, guys.
Happy Beer Day.
Lift one up.
Well, what's going on down at Graphics Guru today?
Man, we're just hanging out, taking a breath. We got all this Christmas stuff out, man. We always get hit the couple days before Christmas parade with everybody panicking. But we're still working on the little small town stuff. We're working on the Meridian Christmas parade stuff right now.
Wow.
So you're not celebrating National Beer Day early, are you? Not that we judge, just curious.
Not
Okay.
like that. Not
yet.
yet.
I'm waiting until 10 o'clock. Yeah, it's too early at 9. Come on.
I was given a 12-pack of Oktoberfest, and I got 10 bottles left of Sam Adams Oktoberfest.
Some
and I'm
Decemberfest.
probably going to start about noon.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to start about noon celebrating Oktoberfest.
That boy's down there drinking his lunch.
Drinking again.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Zane, tell everybody where you're located. It's been a while since we've talked about the graphic shop.
1413 Rubush Avenue, next to the old fairgrounds and drive-in, across the street from John's Welding.
Woohoo!
Rubbish?
And man, I tell you what,
Rubush.
We've been talking rubbish all day. Yeah.
You were insulting the sheriff-elect.
I would never do such a thing. That would be crazy. Shoot myself in the foot. Rubush.
We're going to be closed a couple days next week. We're moving to the 4th generation of digital latex digital printing.
Oh.
And they're coming to set up and train us on our new printer.
Very nice.
And everybody has seen this thing sitting here. They're like, are you going into the tanning bed business?
The
It looks like a big tanning bed.
Zane's got a side hustle now.
They just print you with a tan.
Yeah, print you with a tan.
That's
okay.
You just tell me how intense you want that tan, and we'll print you.
Sounds painful. Yeah.
Would you like bronze or would you like deep bronze?
Hey, that's it. Or green or yellow or red.
Whatever you want, we'll do it. So I love it.
Pick your color.
Well, happy beer day to you.
Well, same to you guys. Might have to go out tonight and celebrate a little bit.
There you go.
You should.
All right, we're about out of time. We got to run.
Thanks, Zane.
You guys have a wonderful day. Take care.
See you. I love it. National Beer Day, I guess you'd say. So.
Trust Zane to call that one in.
Well, folks, it's been a fun show today. Been a busy one as always. We'll be back tomorrow from 7 until 9. Charles, have a great day.
You too.
All right, folks, we'll talk to you again then. And, of course, Glenn Beck is next. And what do we always tell you? Get out there and buy local. See ya.